Today we're talking with the one and only Stephen He, who you probably know from these two words.
Emotional damage!
Even though you might recognize him from his wildly popular comedy skits and TV series, behind the scenes, he's an incredibly shrewd businessman, entrepreneur, and comedian who's about to share his secrets of success, money, and the realities of living in China.
If you do not pass this exam, we're talking about 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds here, you were basically like shackled to a life of labor.
On this episode of subscribe if you haven't done that already. Although before we go into that, we gotta thank our sponsor.
Now, thank you very much, Graham, for that wonderful intro. Before we get onto that, I'm sure a lot of you guys are college students that want to build your credit, but you're either scared you're going to overspend or you're like Dave Ramsey and don't want to take on any debt. And if that's the case, then today's sponsor, Fizz, might just be the perfect solution for you.
Fizz is the debit card that builds your credit and earns cash back. With Fizz, you get a credit limit based on how much you have in your bank account, and they offer an auto pay feature so that your bill is paid off automatically every single day. And of course, if you're like us, you might be wondering,
But Grant and Jack, how does Fizz make money?
well, Fizz's revenue comes entirely off of the interchange fees that merchants pay, so it doesn't come from the cardholders. And the best part is that you don't need a credit check, security deposit, or cosigner to sign up. Fizz also reports to all three major credit bureaus, building your credit score like a normal credit card would without having to worry about building up some insurmountable debt. So sign up for Fizz today and get your card instantly on Apple Pay while your beautiful first edition Fizz card gets shipped to you directly.
Fizz partners directly with MasterCard and Lead Bank, and also international students can apply without a social security number. So sign up using our link down below and start building your credit in a safe and accessible way.
Again, the link is down below in the description. And now with that said, let's get to the podcast. How many waters do you need, Jack?
Just two. This guy's actually incredible. He will go an entire podcast without a beverage, which to me is just maniacal, to be completely honest, because I don't understand how you can talk for that long without needing to drink.
Oh, you're right. But yes, your mouth gets so like dry, when
yes.
you talk.
Yeah.
He
He doesn't want to spend money on the water consumption is what it is.
Our water bill is out of control.
We should totally talk about cheapness because I take pride in how
Oh, you're a
cheap
cheap
I am.
person?
I am such a
That's
cheap
Graham's
person.
favorite conversation topic.
That's great. Okay, let's see who's cheaper.
You know, his frugality is actually real. Like, a lot of people are surprised when they
bet.
hang out with him. He's not joking. He's actually that frugal. It's incredible.
I think it's reasonable.
I bet it is. No, I believe you because I think it's something to be proud of. You know, I am as well.
Did you grow up in a household that was cheap or
yes.
conservative financially?
Oh, very much. By the way, are we rolling?
We're rolling.
Okay,
We're rolling.
great.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice. I like that. Just roll right in without an intro. That's awesome. I grew up in China and the mindset was very different. Like, I didn't know anything about investing at all. I didn't understand like financial intelligence or inflation or anything like that. Like, I remember growing up, my concept of money was I make money and I save it. Like if you were a smart person where I came from, you saved it. The not so smart person make money and spends it, and they get in trouble for not having money. And so the saving kind of mentality was really a part of my childhood, like my upbringing.
But that's the culture as well. I feel like in a lot of Asian countries is just to save.
Yes,
It's always
to
saving.
save.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's the...
Did you not know this, Jack?
No. Okay, so
Yeah.
I have a very biased perspective, and I'm
Go
not
on.
stereotyping or anything. That is not what I want to be doing here.
Okay.
But in college, I was at UCSB. Now, the people that drove the Porsches, the people that drove the Camaros, the people that drove the Mustangs, the people that wore the Louis Vuitton, I noticed were the foreign exchange students, usually from the Asian countries. And I always like kind of figure like, okay, what's like the trend here? You know, because I can't be oblivious to something like that. Like, do they all have money?
Oh,
Like,
I can give insight to that. So yes, during that time, like the recent maybe 20 years, and my lifetime is very much within this, China had a massive boom. Like China went from, I'd say, my grandparents. You know, there was not an abundance. Like people were hungry a lot from my experience. Not I can't speak for the whole country, but just my family's experience. And then my parents' generation were born, and when they hit adulthood, that's when like China exploded. All of a sudden, everything was made in China. So these businesses started popping up, and as you can imagine, like anything in manufacturing, you know, logistics, where we would make the stuff that you see in like Walmart. That put a lot of wealth in China, and all of a sudden people who weren't used to having wealth would gain wealth very, very fast, like become millionaires in a year and so by opening up a factory, or the entrepreneurs who would take advantage of that massive boom. And then this is funny. In my generation, when I was born, I was born in the one-child policy, so I didn't know a single person, like a classmate with a sibling, not one. Like maybe.
So what would happen if you ended up having a second kid?
I don't know.
Because you can't just stop that from happening.
My understanding is that isn't there a tax? So it costs money, or I think, I don't know if we could talk about that on
Does
here.
the baby go bye-bye?
I believe so.
And
If it's female, I think the males were. I don't know. If
Well,
it was-
I've
See, no,
gotta
this right here, I've heard the
Yeah.
exact same thing. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but this
Yeah.
is just like a lot of Americans' perception of what happens. I'm sure a lot of viewers can relate. Maybe a lot
Yes.
can't. But
Yeah.
like a lot of people think that like the women babies,
less desirable because
they like go up for adoption or something like that.
The less desirable, yes, I have heard of that. Well, the answer is I actually don't know. I was never told the actual rules.
Okay.
But yeah, you could only have one child, and there was this pressure that your whole family's lineage kind of rested on your shoulders, and so you can imagine, right? The
Right.
pressure. This is where the whole you must get an A, all that culture of being extremely tough on your children kind of comes from. Is that you don't have anyone else
Interesting.
to carry on the lineage, and that plus the big pressure in China at the time of the economy and what kind of careers you had access to.
The opportunities.
Yes, the
Yeah.
opportunities. It was a much tougher competition than it is here. That's just from some personal experiences. When I was 13 years old, we were about to do this thing called 中考, and that is where it's like the deciding point of if people continue on education or don't. And my experience growing up was it was largely accepted that if you do not pass this exam and get into a school, because if you didn't get into a school, that was the end. You went out, you got a job, you didn't continue education. We're talking about 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds here.
Wow. Okay.
That the impression that everyone around was kind of having was if you didn't continue, you were basically shackled to a life of labor, to being a delivery person forever or a farmer. You would have a bad life, basically. We were told that. Our parents would beat it into us. The school, the society would beat that into us, that you have to pass this exam. The passing rate was not high. From what I know from my city back home, it was less than a half. Less than a half get to continue on education where you would have a hope of a good career, a good income where you could raise a family and things like that. That was my experience growing up. I don't know about other parts of China, but I'm from Shenzhen. And so you can imagine the massive stress and pressure that society puts on, and the family puts on to a child, which they're definitely children. 13-year-old is definitely a child. And that was the concept. I never learned or understood financial intelligence in the way of investing and how to make money work for you. It was just rather simple of you get money, you save it, because you're not going to be able to get money in the future, or things will happen that will cost money. A lot of concepts were a stranger to me when I was coming to the West. And I take responsibility. This might be my individual experience because I am particularly uneducated in this field. It took a while for me to understand medical insurance and why the hell people have it.
Canadians feel the same way. Yeah. Don't worry. It's not just you.
Yeah. So in China, you get sick, you go to the hospital, you get what you need, and that's it. That was the end. And you paid I don't know, the price of a pizza for a regular visit. So it was never anything you consider.
It's all subsidized by the government, though.
Oh, I don't know.
Because
know
there's
how
no
that
way you
works.
can pay the price of a pizza for some actual.
The government really owns everything, though. So, of course, they're going to provide healthcare to their citizens. Citizens make a lot of business. They're very productive. The government wants to help those people survive and keep working.
Yeah, well, so, I fully admit I am very uneducated in politics in China. But yeah, the reason I brought up like kind of the field was, wow, that was a long tangent. People like, that was what people in my parents' generation got wealthy when no one was used to being wealthy in China. And as a result, they kind of gave their children everything that they didn't have. And I knew many like children who was either my classmate or close to me, friends who were like this. And that's where you see the Louis Vuitton wearing kids outside. Because we kind of, growing up anyway, now it might be different, but growing up, we considered coming to the West, to mostly England, America, Canada, these countries, is considered like the best place to send your kids for a good career and a good life. And when those very rich Chinese people send them over, they just give them everything they want. So that represents a very small number of children. And we actually have a name for them. We call them Fu or Dai, which translates to rich second generation. So that is exactly what you were describing earlier. And I know I've seen many of them myself. I was not one of them, unfortunately.
Yeah, I had quite a few Japanese and Korean friends. They were very much like, their families were very much no flash, very modest, save, and be like very frugal, and like that was really important.
Yes, it was. Wow, that's fun to think about back then. Like growing up in China, there were a lot of experiences I would love to share with you guys. Like,
please do. I'm so curious.
Like going to school, everything was cash. By the way, when I was a kid, everything was cash. I barely, I didn't really know about bank accounts. Like my parents probably had them. They probably had, but for me it was cash. Like you would get your allowance, and I'd probably get like 100 yuan every week, and I'm living through such a happy memory.
And what's the conversion? What would that be? Like a few dollars American, I believe?
Probably less than $10 maybe.
Okay.
And what you could buy with it.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
A $10 allowance a week?
$20. What is it? 40 a month? Yeah.
My allowance was $2 a week.
And this is back then too, so inflation.
That's
true. pretty decent.
Dang.
A better reference is probably what it could buy, rather than the dollar exchange.
Sure.
Like what it could buy, I remember. Oh man, I'm so happy even thinking about this. On the way to school every morning, it was like 7 a.m. and I was the monitor, so I had to get there extra early to take care of all the responsibilities. I would stop by like a rice noodle stall, and these were all hole in the walls, literally. Like they didn't even have a front wall. It was a building with a room cut out of it, let alone not having a door. They didn't even have a wall. And it would generally be like one person running the whole stall, making rice rolls and serving people, making financial transactions in cash, which now I think is probably not very sanitary thinking back on it. And I remember a rice roll would cost like 5 yuan. Going to school in the morning, and I would maybe get like an extra soy milk or an extra xiaolongbao, and that was everything. And I particularly remember as well the people that I saw were very happy. Like I remember this one guy who ran a rice roll stall. He would knead the dough and make the food, and he would dance to it every day. So I'd go get my food and I'd watch him like working away dancing. And I always remember that, because I like to think that was his dream. I like to think he probably came from somewhere much worse, and he's just so happy to have his own stall and to have his own business and to be able to feed kids on their way to school.
You know what? Before we go into that, though, I've seen a lot of people try to get into businesses, and I've seen firsthand just how difficult getting funding could be, which is why our sponsor, Fund and Grow, wants to help. That's because Fund and Grow understands the challenges small businesses go through when they try to get the funding that they need. Traditional bank loans come with tons of restrictions and the slow corporate bureaucracy.
That's right, Graham. However, Fund and Grow offers a simple and unique alternative. With a 12-month membership, you can secure up to $250,000 of credit at 0% interest without giving up any equity in your company. money. Fund and Grow also has over 4,000 4.9 star reviews because their streamlined funding process delivers fast and efficient results that has already helped out tons of small businesses. And as a special offer, Fund and Grow is offering a business funding program showing you the 5 steps to obtaining up to $250,000 in business credit. And also, as an exclusive bonus, you can enjoy up to a $500 discount on their services.
So take action now and begin growing your business. Visit Fund and Grow today down below in the description. And now with that said, let's get back to the podcast.
And then like bubble tea swept over. I remember the summer that all of a sudden everyone went from drinking Coca-Cola to bubble tea. And it multiplied like more than Starbucks is today. Just took over the whole city. I remember that. And so there was the cash. And the things that we would kind of flex or be happy about was, oh, look, I got the new snack. I got the new
That's cool.
spicy peanuts.
Yeah.
That was awesome. There would always be stalls outside the school in like a cart that could be wheeled away in a second.
Yeah.
You know? And they would sell the strangest things. Now that I've come to the West, I've realized that a lot of the things they were doing were taken from the West. Like there was this year in school, it must have been like 11 or 12. Yeah, 11 or 12, where all of a sudden hash browns became the thing.
No.
Like
the McDonald's hash browns, like they come in the thing.
Exact hash browns they have in McDonald's. The exact
Those are
shape.
good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wonder, where did they get them? Because later on I realized they were the McDonald's hash browns. Like, is this like an off-brand? Did someone figure out how to buy it, or just go to the supplier that McDonald's goes to? Like those were the stuff. Like growing up, what I remember.
Wow.
Off-brands was huge. Oh my god, I love this topic. I genuinely love this topic.
Oh my
because
gosh.
I've made a lot of videos, skits about off-brand products. You know, that's like my childhood growing up. So every chip bag I brought was off-brand. Every
give us an
drink-
example. Like, do we have Doritos? And then you would like,
yes. The product would
yeah.
be sometimes pretty close, sometimes way off. Like you go to a stall, and these would be like shacks. You know, the part of a building, products just laid upon like a wooden board with ledges. So
Sure.
they'd put bags of stuff on the wooden board. And I remember I drank stuff. I drank this lemonade drink that I thought was Sprite. I didn't even know what Sprite was, but it tasted completely off. But we were like, oh well, this is what you drink. You know, this is what we grew up here. This is what's available. We had off-brand versions, definitely of potato chips. Lots of potato chips.
Pringles. Pringles would be an easy one to knock off. Yeah.
So many.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Don't get me started on restaurants, bro. Dude,
Which ones?
restaurants. I swear, where I grew up, this was Shenzhen, Luohuqi, Shenzhen. There must have been like 5 off-brand KFCs exactly where I lived. They would copy the exact items KFC sells.
serious?
Like KFC would come out with a wrap, they would come out with a wrap, and they were like 5 times cheaper. I have no idea how they managed to swing that kind of prices. And that
Was KFC not in China?
It was in China. They were,
Just copy
How
it.
was there no like legal issue between?
oh, bro! I bet.
Good luck trying to shut that
Yeah,
down.
I bet at this moment there are shops with my face just plastered on the front, and I don't know anything about it.
In
My
China.
gosh.
Yes, I bet. Yeah,
You shut one down and 5 more to open up like the next day.
that's
They're quick.
It's a
Yeah.
real thing. Like for no reason, you just see someone's pineapple juice stall with like Tom Cruise face slapped on it, going like this. I swear, you see that everywhere you go. It's probably still happening today. So I love that stuff. The off-brand.
But now Jack brought up a question though. Legally, can they ever? I mean, I know they're not. They maybe can't shut them down. So what's the strategy? Is it just to open up and like just do as much business as possible?
I think it was such a common thing that people took it for granted. Like, I don't think KFC ever went, oh, let's close them down. I doubt that. Well, being an American company, I see they would probably want to do that. But culturally, no one went around going like, that's not supposed to be here. We kind of just enjoyed it. It's just a part of it all. But copyright does have a bit of a different. Oh my god!
But like, how exact were they in their copying? Like KFC, do people know? Oh, that's KFC.
Was the
but
name
like,
similar to KFC?
The name was very, very similar. They copied the art. They would draw exactly the same, but they might swap out, like, instead of a, what do you call that thing? It's a bow tie, or it's a regular tie. They would swap out little bits. There were I remember products that were so similar to the real one. It really take you a second to see, oh, there was an extra dot on the wording, or, oh, this one has an extra line at the bottom.
Could it be named Kentucky Fried Chicken, like KFC?
I bet there was. Like, most of the time, I would see them switch up one word or one syllable even. But I'm quite confident there are a few that straight up pretends to be.
Wow.
Not even hiding, just straight up saying we are KFC when they're absolutely not.
So did you pass that exam when you were 13? I was wondering that.
I didn't do it. I actually immigrated.
Before?
Yes, right
exam.
before. Literally right before. I immigrated from Shenzhen to Ireland, and I became an Irish person through immigration. And China, so if you immigrate as a Chinese person, you do have to forfeit your Chinese citizenship. So that's what happened. I came over and I joined the Irish system, and that was a whole other world. It was, throwing myself into a very different social structure with different language, different manners. All of a sudden, everything I knew was different. So I was very much thrown in the deep end.
What were some of the differences between the two?
Oh, I thought of two things. Let me say these two things before we continue. Oh my God, it's gonna be so funny. This is like a stand-up bit, Everything we talk about is great. There's two off-brand things that I remember specifically growing up. That when I came to the West, I was like, oh my God, this is how things worked. First one was movies. Oh, this is terrible because I am in the film industry. This is terrible. This is what it was like in China. Growing up, to watch a movie, you went down your building out to a stall that had essentially a cardboard box with like 200 DVDs inside it. And they were all rip-offs. None of them were licensed or anything. They would all have like didn't have boxes. They were like an envelope printed with the movie poster. You would take out and you'd be like, oh, this is this movie. And you'd pay like something ridiculous, like 2 yuan, like nothing, cents for it. And you brought it home. And usually it was a different film because...
It wasn't what it was advertised as?
Usually
I had
they
a buddy
rip you off.
buy one in New York, thought it was Harry Potter, put it on, and it was a video recording of some other movie.
Yes.
Someone was in the movie theater with the camera.
You would get that all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, you would.
And you would hear some like coughing in the background.
Yeah, in fact, you would feel lucky if you didn't get that.
Yeah.
If I bought like a film, put it on, and it wasn't a secret like recording in the cinema, it would have been a special moment for me.
We saw like someone's head in front of the thing, like blocking up part of the bottom of the screen.
Same with video games. Oh my God, you would buy a video game and plug it into a computer. It would be a completely different video game. And that's another big, I want to share this experience because it's going to be so funny to you guys. Growing up, there was this game everyone played. It was like you talked about it in school, it was the popular thing. It was a racing game, like Need for Speed, like that kind of racing, but in a cartoonish style, not realistic
Mario
style.
Kart?
Dude, let me tell you. We... So it would be hype. You'd like practice on the weekends to get better and all of that. And you'd pay for the newest skins, the best cars. It was the cool thing. Everyone did it. And then I remember I came to the West and I kind of stopped playing that. And I lived in the West a while for, a couple of years. And then occasionally one person just brought up this game. Hey, let's play Mario Kart. And I was like, oh, okay. They flipped on the game and I went, they copied the game I used to play when I was back in China.
No.
I legit thought Mario Kart copied the off-brand game that we used to play. And it took me like a month to convince me, no, Mario Kart is the original.
Wow.
That is such a funny experience. Right? You grew up thinking that's the thing. And you see this, wait, the controls are the same. You can drift too. Wait, what? You can get items that you could use on people. They copied. No, but it was the other way around.
Oh my gosh.
So, that's the story I wanted to tell. It's so funny.
Gosh.
That's crazy.
How were some of the customs different then when you moved out from
when
China?
I moved to Ireland, I got a very hard kind of experience because my mom put me into an Irish school right off. It's literally the day. I've told the story before. The day we landed in the airport in the morning at 8 a.m., we went to this new home that I'd never been, and my mother had married an Irishman. And she's like, "This is your new father." I was like, "Wow, everything's so disorienting." 8 a.m. we landed. 11 a.m. I was in school, and my mom said, "Here's the principal. Here's Steven. Good luck. Goodbye."
How was your English or Irish?
I didn't speak a word.
What language do they speak there?
In Ireland, English. They speak English.
Don't laugh, Graham. Don't laugh, Graham.
You look more Irish than me. You probably have Irish heritage.
Look, I'm not the most cultured guy. I've been trying to leave
You know
the
what's so
country.
funny? Jack was asking what I thought his IQ was before this.
That's not an IQ question. That's a trivial knowledge question
It's
that
got
is
nothing to do-
proven to have no correlation with IQ.
I agree.
That is trivial knowledge, Graham.
That's so funny.
That is completely detached, okay? I'm just uncultured. That's simply what it is. I've never left the country, never had
That's
an
totally
opportunity
good.
to.
Yeah,
This
that's
guy
totally
locks
good.
me in Vegas in my cell, and I can't leave.
Not until you get the podcast
I can only
edited,
leave when we
Jack.
have to shoot a podcast. I go right back into the cell right afterwards.
Dude, that is so funny. That is exposed.
Okay, they speak English in Ireland, but you didn't know English.
they
Got it,
do,
okay.
they
I
do.
didn't- I thought Irish was a language.
Oh,
I
it is.
did.
It is a language.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
all right. No. It is a language.
Yes, it's a language
So
called
it's not to-
Gaelic. That only I remember the
That's a
message
trick
I heard.
question now, isn't it?
We went to Limerick. My mom kind of moved myself to Limerick, and I remember in the school there was one other Asian person, and he was Filipino. So within miles there was no one who spoke Mandarin, and I didn't speak a word of English. So it was sink or swim. My days were miserable. The only way I could cope was to copy people. Like if I saw people sat down at the chair, I would sit down at the chair. But if they took out a red book, I would take out my red book, but I had no idea what anything meant.
How do they put you in class? Wouldn't they test you in and realize like you don't speak the?
Oh, they know I don't speak.
So why would they put you in there? How does it not make sense?
How do you sit and listen?
It kind
to
of
them?
is like that.
Yeah.
I sit there and I just wonder to myself, what's going on today? Oh, it's raining
But
outside.
so how do
How's
they
it?
expect you to sit through class on that?
I don't know what they I guess they just.
But you couldn't have possibly learned anything.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I guess the first time I moved to Ireland, I was 8. So a little bit earlier, I went back in like chunks. China, Ireland, China, Ireland. So the first time, 8-year-old me probably was more malleable. Is that the word to use?
a
I
great
picked
word.
up language faster. So first year, geez, I could not understand anything anyone would say to me. And it developed like a defense or a coping mechanism where I would just play dumb. Like if the teacher is speaking to me, dude, what else am I gonna do? I'm just gonna stare at you, not understanding a single word you said. When people brought me places, I would just go with them. And and I remember they put me in the special needs class as well with other mentally challenged children. Probably because they thought I was mentally
Right.
challenged. For good reasons. Yes, I did very much behave very dumb. That was like the first year. And then just through living, I started to pick up what words meant. Like occasionally I'd know what food meant or what large activities meant, what riding a bike meant. And then by 2 years, I was able to communicate, like kind of normally. I would be able to communicate, but with many holes. Like, this is so embarrassing. No one would teach me this stuff because no one spoke Mandarin. So I would say things to a group of Irish kids like, "Hey, can I read your bike?" And then everyone would laugh at me, and I'd be like, "What's so funny?" And people like, "It's ride, not read." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, it was a lot of that experience, hundreds and hundreds of times. And that's kind of where I developed the defense mechanism to play stupid.
I'm just curious because when you first went there, you had no idea like how to speak English. Were you
Yes.
effectively just mute? Did you just not say things, or did you like how?
Yeah, I didn't say
You just kind of
anything.
sat there.
Yes, I just sat there.
How would you do tests and pass anything?
No, I wouldn't pass any. The only thing I had, this is kind of funny actually, the only thing I understood was numbers. So to the Irish kids, here's a guy that is completely silent, that doesn't understand anything, but he would like know math better than the teacher. And so they thought it was kind of some kind of savant, you know. But in reality, I just didn't speak the language. And my math was very advanced. So I would know quite often actually math topics better than the teacher does. So that created a funny little perspective that to other kids might have been entertaining.
Wow. The teacher wouldn't call on you though, because they knew, like they learned, I'm sure after time, okay, don't call on Steven because he won't
kind of
speak back.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, they did call on me, and it would always fail because I would stand up and I was like, I don't know, and I just sit back down.
Would you ever just speak Mandarin though? Like just like explaining
No.
something?
It didn't make sense to me to speak Mandarin.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. I suppose it was such a social, like subconscious hit that I developed a shell and I developed like a coping mechanism to dissociate in a way. And that, I believe that kind of made me really introverted, as you can imagine. And so I spent the vast majority of my childhood, even my uni days, in my room. I would play video games. I would not go see a single person. And I feel that about Ireland, that I'm a little sad that I missed out on that whole experience. I've never went to a single party. I never went to the bar, which all the kids, as soon as they're 18, they went to. I had like one friend who would occasionally come play FIFA with me. And that was it. And even in my uni days, I spent the whole time in my room. It was only after that, when I went to like acting training, that I began to open up in terms of personality and actually be able to talk to people and share a connection, tell stories, like learn how to interact. So yeah, that was quite the experience. I'm glad I'm the way I am now. It's very, I enjoy company. You know, I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy hearing their stories now. And it's much better than like playing video games in my room.
Yeah. When did you come to the U.S.?
About 5 years ago. I came here because of an acting school called the Neighborhood Playhouse. So I wanted to become an actor when I was 13. And now, being like, after understanding a lot more, I understand the reason I kind of started was because I needed validation, because I felt lesser. I felt really lesser. Like everyone else had, you know, what they had, and their parents came and picked them up from school when I had to walk home alone. Other kids could have that. I couldn't. You know, there was many situations where like I'd be in a living situation where another kid would, for dinner, for example, would get the fresh bowl of rice. I get the leftover bowl of rice. It's just a lot of experiences distilled that lesser feeling in me. And because I felt lesser than people, I craved, you know, for people to tell me I'm important and I deserve to be here. And so for that result, unconsciously, that's why I wanted to become an actor. And now that I know that, I have much more power over that. And it's like, I don't kind of crave validation as much as the child version of me did. And so because of that, I did a lot of theater. I went to London to do a bachelor's degree in acting. And then I was 20 years old when I graduated my bachelor's degree. I went to New York to the Neighborhood Playhouse, which, to my knowledge, is one of the best acting schools on the planet, with many Oscar-winning alumni who are actors as well. So that's why I came. And then I finished the acting school. It really changed me as a person, because a lot of the defenses I built up, I wasn't aware of before. But through that process, I learned more about myself, about what made me the way I am. And that's actually the reason I can change myself now, because I understand, so I feel this way because of an experience lives inside me from when I was 12. And that has helped big time. So then went into the industry, did a bunch of stuff. I was in like Comedy Central, I was in Showtime. I did a bunch of movies where they weren't huge, like not many people saw them. But I was the lead and stuff. But that was not a career. That's a whole other story.
How did you even get into that? Like Comedy Central, like some of these things are pretty big. Where did that take
it was just an audition process. At the time, I did a lot of theater. I did 61 stage shows, and haven't done one since. It's been a while. 61 stage shows since I was 13 years old. In Shenzhen, in Limerick, in London, Edinburgh, and New Jersey and New York. So I've done a good amount of theaters through like my journey that I've built up. And then I entered the film industry. And at first it was waking up every morning, submitting to 20 acting jobs. And I was really hungry. I had drive like crazy. So I would actively lose money to beg for a job. I was like, I will fly to Illinois to do a Shakespeare play at my own expense, flight and lodging. And they probably pay nothing anyway. I was that hungry. I just wanted a career. But I was also I was unaware of how kind of difficult it was to have a career in acting. Like I didn't know the stats. Or rather, I might have known the stats, but I was emotionally disassociating myself from it. I was delusional, thinking, I'm the one in a million. I'm gonna be the lucky guy.
Well, how were you doing all this when you didn't know English?
Oh no, I knew. Well, it took me
At
2
this
years.
point,
yeah,
Jack,
at this point, I'm
he's 20
like
years old.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought you
yeah.
said from 13 to whatever age you had
yes.
been.
From 13 to 17, I did a bunch of theater, and then 17 I went to
And at
university.
13, you knew English fairly fluently?
Yes, I did. I
Okay,
did.
cool.
Because I started when I was 8.
Yeah.
So I could speak well, maybe with a strong accent. Probably with a strong accent. And then 17 went to train. 20 years old, train again. 22 graduated, went into full time. And the way I got into these roles was to wake up, submit to 20 jobs, and out of those 20, like maybe a week, I'd probably do 3 auditions, 5 auditions. And a lot of them were by myself in my room. So I'd set up the camera, I'd perform, I'd send them the tape, or going into the room. So I was in New York at the time. I traveled to the place, the whole experience. Every actor is familiar with this. And occasionally I would land. My landing rate is very, very, very low. Very low.
How low? Like what's the ratio on that?
So I have applied to about 3,100 jobs. And it wasn't just me. It was also I had an agent who would apply on my behalf as well. So with the two of us together, we'd apply to like every chance. And I was hungry enough to not care about money at all. Out of the 3,100 applications, I landed, I'd say 7.
Wow.
So it was terribly bad.
What's typical?
Oh,
Like what
when
percentage
you
is typical?
When you look at stats, so I will specify as well, landing a job is barely anywhere close to a career, because like I was on Comedy Central for one day and how should I describe? Like, okay, here's an idea. Of the 7 jobs I landed, and if I was like flexing my acting achievement, they would be pretty strong. People would go, oh, you were in Comedy Central's Aquafina's Nora from Queens. They'd be, oh yeah, cool, good for you. But I have never made a month's rent. So as an actor, you're expected not to make enough money to live. And there's many stats to back me up. Like SAG-AFTRA actors, I remember it's about 96 or 97% of SAG-AFTRA actors. That is the professional union here in America. 96, 97% need another job because their acting cannot live on their acting. So having a career is like rare, extremely rare, to just earn, I don't know, 40K, 50K a year. And then being the one in a million, obviously that is a lot rarer. Yeah.
Right. So how were you supporting yourself through that time?
Oh, that was my mom and dad. That was all my mom and dad.
Yeah.
Supporting actors since they made a joke about this at the Oscars. And it's the stereotype, isn't it? Like my mom and dad supported me big time. And it was because of them I had the time and the energy to go at it as hard as I did. So if they didn't support me, I would have to like wait tables, which I actually did to a short period of time. But I'm really fortunate in that rent was covered. My mother and father paid for that, and most of living was covered. Yeah, for like 2 years, and we did have some hard like conversations there, because of the reality of it. I was
Right.
I began really starry-eyed and really delusional. And I remember like this was the moment that changed everything for me. And it's kind of when I started to go into content creation as a strategy. It wasn't a passion. It was me trying to use a new media's platform as a strategy to leverage against traditional.
Where do you find the inspiration for a lot of your videos? A lot of the comedy. What's the process like?
Oh, there is a real... Wow, that's a great point, because there is a struggle there. The struggle is this question of, are you an artist or are you a professional? And for my whole career up until now, I've chosen the professional. And the difference between an artist and a professional to me is an artist expresses, a professional delivers. The difference is the direction. An artist makes what they want to make. A professional makes what the audience want to see. And I've always taken that route. And that's led to a lot of burnout. I'll give you the clearest example. I came up with the Asian dad character maybe 200 and some videos in. And it was a hit. It was a massive hit. And I was like, oh, dude, this is so exciting. Bro, I have so many ideas because I grew up with this, so I could joke about that. I had like 20 ideas. And then I made all 20. And I ran out of ideas.
You could just repeat the ideas though. Like that's where you go back to idea 1 and then you just add a few sprinkles in there.
I had to do that. I had to do version 2s of things that I'd already done.
Yeah.
I had to repeat jokes that I maybe add a little bit, but it was the same joke. You know, how many times can you joke about getting B in math? I've done it maybe 5-6 times now, 7 times.
Yeah, but you could do A-.
Oh my God, it's so dead.
Yeah, hey, why no A+?
I guess this goes back to a little bit of the experience thing, the audience experience. I would hate to see my favorite YouTuber do the same thing over and over again. I would get bored in 3-4 times. And so I care about that for my audience. I always try to bring fresh out content and never re-deliver the same value. If I do make the same thing again, I try to add all brand new value in there. So I made 20. I ran out of ideas. I was like, but it's not about what I want to make. It's about what they want to see. And the viewership was very, very, very obvious. Asian Dad video, 10 million views. Asian Dad video, 10 million views. Skit about my acting career, 100K. Asian Dad video, 10 million views. So it was very, very clear what the audience wanted to see. So I sucked it up. I forced myself to come up with the ideas anyway. I made another 20. And I was burnt out, but I made another 20. I was burnt out, but I made another 20. And now we're like 80 skits into this character now. It's still that question. Do I make content I want to make? Or do I make content people want to see?
I make content people want to see.
Great.
'Cause that's been my approach. When you say exactly that, I look at what are people watching right now on YouTube? What are the trending topics? And I'm going to talk about that.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, I make content for other people. And of course, like I like to interject my own little jokes and my own thoughts into it because that's where I have fun. But at the end of the day, it's like I'm doing it for the audience. And so I'll talk about whatever people want to hear about.
That's great.
So like I admire that and like that discipline. Like for me, side hustle and passive income videos are my least favorite. I can't stand making these videos. But
watched a lot.
But they consistently do well.
Yes,
Like over the course of a year, they're my most viewed videos by like 2 to 3 times. But I just can't stand making them. And a lot of it's repeated.
Yeah,
But people, for whatever reason, I don't want to watch the video you made a year ago on. I want to see the new video today, even though it's the same info. I see that because I've seen the same sort of skits that you've done, and I'm like, I don't want to watch the old one. I want to watch the new one because you grow as your your audience is going to grow. They're never going to look back at the old videos. They only get recommended what's in the last like few weeks.
Okay, that's very fascinating.
So-
So anyway, it is that perspective, and I guess the best kind of advice I've heard about this topic is from my friend Ian, and he mentions the way kind of he does it is he'll make 2 for the audience and 1 for himself, and I feel like that could really help in terms of creative burnout, because I gotta admit, like the writing is the hardest part. If I get scripts every day, I can make 100 videos, a month. That's easy. Shooting is easy. Performing is easy. Coming up with the jokes is hard. And in the way I work as well, it is more complicated because one of my advantages that took me past my peers is how fast I deliver value and how often I deliver value. My content is comedy skits. That is my main content. And of course, the value that I deliver is comedy, laughs, basically. Where Key and Peele would deliver 2 laughs in 3 minutes, I would deliver 30. And that was my advantage in becoming Stephen He and outgrowing all of those channels that I studied before. So if I have an idea, it's not really worth anything because an idea, Asian Dad goes to the grocery store, I still have to write 30 jokes. And that's where I have difficulty. Oh, we already joked about the rice 5 times.
Yeah. Have you thought about hiring a writer?
I have. I have tried.
just-
Jesus Christ, I have never found a person who can do it in the way this channel has been doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, so very difficult.
Walk us through your creative process. You come up with the video, Asian Dad goes to a grocery store.
Yeah.
How do you, what's the first step? Okay, what is like an Asian something that happens at a grocery
that's
store?
pretty easy. I write jokes, so find that we'll take that idea.
Yeah.
Asian Dad goes to the grocery store. I sit down on my computer and I write about 30 jokes, which oftentimes is writing like 50 and deleting 20. So I would write, hey, what's funny? The fish. Oh, there's always fish at Asian stores. Let's make a joke about SeaWorld. Hey, You always wanted to go to SeaWorld there? There you go.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
really good.
Like that's a joke, and then I go on to write another joke, and then after I write all of the jokes, I curate them in like a.
You string it together to create some sort of
and
narrative.
and there's actually a massive skill in the curating as well, because it's not about narrative at all. It's not about narratively stringing them together. First we go to this section, then we go to the next section. The curation is actually about the experience. So this is where I've developed very advanced kind of ways to optimize for making the experience good. So it's not random. It's not like I'm doing banger, 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 mediocre joke, mediocre joke. No, I'm actually curating them in a way that's essentially like a DJ. I'm not giving you all the beat drops up front. I'm not giving you all the beat drops behind. I want the experience to be a way that I want, which is also a tactic for the algorithm as well. You can call it a retention tactic. And then I put the jokes in the order that I want them by selection of value. What value did it deliver? Is it a big laugh? Is it a small laugh? Is it a chuckle? And then once I have the list of 30 jokes, I use narrative to string them into a coherent script. And I put in the characters I need to put in. I write the dialogue, and that's the script done.
How long would that take you to do?
I have found a hack recently. Usually that take me it'll take me like 15 minutes or 3 days, because I'd often try to force jokes out of my head, and I have a really hard time. Like no matter how hard I squeeze, I'm staring at the paper and I just can't think of a joke. Or other times, like the emotional damage video took me 15 minutes to write. I was like, oh, this will be cool. Wait, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. And it's done. Yeah.
Walk us through that video.
That video. Oh, okay. All right. This is going to get all the views. Let's go. This is why we're here. The emotional damage video is called When Asian is a Difficulty Mode. Initially, I was playing Dark Souls. That was it. I was playing Dark Souls. And I loved how the characters died. Where it's called ragdoll physics, right? When you get hit, the character kind of like falls as if they have no bones. Yeah. And I was like, dude, that's funny. I want to imitate that in real life. I wonder how that would look. And so I was like, okay, so let's write a skit where the character would like die 20 times. And for the sake of delivering the audience what they want, let's put Asian dad in there. The difficulty mode I came up with was, what if like being Asian was a difficulty mode, because it's really damn hard. A lot of things are particularly hard about our culture. Not that we're harder than anyone else, but being called you're fat every day by your mom is emotionally damaging, and moments like that. And so I went on to, okay, so we need like 20 deaths. All right, let's try something that's funny that a character can die from. A character can die from being hit by a leaf falling from a tree. Write that down. A character can die from stepping on a stone. Write that down. And one of them was, what else can a character die from besides physical damage? Oh, I know. Someone roasts him and he dies of emotional damage. Write that down. And I wrote like, I don't know how many, you got to count on the video. And many didn't even make it. So probably 20 deaths. Strung that together, how am I going to put Asian down in this video? Obviously, he's not the character that dies because it's a video game. Let's put him as the reactionary character. He's the one playing. So the main footage happens in-game, but each death, I'm going to add the punchline by cutting to his reaction shot. He plays the game, character in-game dies. On screen, we put the death, emotional damage or whatever, and we cut back to him. He is mad. He is screaming at this game because he's so annoyed. And one of them was emotional damage. So that's how that video came about.
You have to say it.
Emotional damage.
Oh my God.
Views for days. Let's go.
Do you ever get tired of saying that?
No, it's about the experience of my fans.
That's lovely.
It brings so much
is
joy.
lovely. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I've been waiting for you to say it this
That's so funny, bro. That is so
Is that one
funny.
of your like most highly requested things during fan encounters? It's like, hey, can you say it?
Oh, not that much actually. Not that.
Really?
Sometimes people will ask that, but mostly it's for a selfie, or mostly I like this about my fans because I've really put a lot of effort into building a connection with them. They actually have conversations with me. Like, I appreciate that more than anything because I've seen the other side. I've seen when a celebrity is viewed as a product And then every interaction was, hey, can I get a selfie? Hey, can I get a selfie? You get a selfie, yeah, thanks, bye. And you know, when you're looked at as a product, it doesn't feel so great. But thanks to, you know, the connection that we have, every conversation is intimate. They come up, they go, oh my God, Steven, you have to make this video again because my friend and I was just talking about this and this, blah, blah, blah. That's a real human connection. I love that. I feel like if people looked at me like a product like they do a regular A-lister, then I would be starved of human connection.
Have you thought about doing Asian dad doing cheap life hacks? Like extreme cheapskates sort of thing? Like that would be hilarious. Like using like garbage bags as like trash bags.
I love that you mentioned that.
You know,
Garbage bags is trash bags?
common. Yeah, it's common in a lot of cultures.
Garbage bags is trash
I didn't know
bags?
this. I did that all the time. And then people reached
You mean
out from
grocery bags?
Sorry. Grocery bags is trash.
155,
mean the
everybody.
same thing.
155.
Yeah, grocery bags is trash bags. I did that in a CNBC video, and everyone is commenting like,
That's
"Yo,
so
he does
funny.
it like my culture does that too." I didn't realize how common that is.
Yes, one of the first
Grocery bags is trash bags.
Yeah, one of the first Asian culture skits I've ever made was this parody shopping channel where an Asian mother advertises used plastic containers as if it was like Gucci. It was like, come get your used Olive Garden container that can contain 3 lunches for your child. And it's just like a used tub of cheese pots, but you finish the cheese pots. So it's like the grandma thing where you have the tin of biscuits, but instead of biscuits is knitting things.
Yeah.
you know that stereotype? Yeah, that's exactly that. So that's a great idea. I've done a lot of skits about the being cheap. That's of course one of the biggest laughing points.
Yeah.
So I've written hundreds of jokes about that. And also the off-brand. I still to this day love making off-brand related skits.
Graham has some great things that you could take away for some skits you're making yourself.
Oh, great.
He reuses the same flosser, like
you're
those
gonna-
dino flossers,
you're gonna
you know?
hate me, Jack?
He reuses them.
Why do you have it?
That's disgusting. Don't put it back in your pocket.
It's
Take
fine.
that out.
These are new pants.
No,
These are
hold
new
on. Take it out.
pants.
Take it out. Take it out.
Why?
Get a close up because that thing is hanging on for dear life. To be
It's
honest,
fine. It looks clean.
Look at why is it all fringed?
Don't touch
man?
it.
I'm not.
At least he's sanitary about it.
Don't
touch it.
That's the least he could do, right?
I always keep like one on me somewhere.
I love that.
Like,
shit.
it's
How
on
many
my
times do you
teeth.
use that?
Today?
Yeah.
Like after the Chipotle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me add a
unreal.
cheap life hack of my own because I literally did this like 2 days ago. When you go to oh my God, you're gonna hate this.
I'm gonna love it. Wait, hold on. I'm taking notes.
When you go to Starbucks to get your latte, that's why I said you're gonna hate
Put
this.
my phone away. All right, my phone's away.
This is what I sometimes do. You ask for a large iced latte, right? And then you get the latte first. You wait till you get the latte, and then you say, "Oh, can I have a cup of milk?"
I do the same thing, and they just give you.
do the same
yeah.
thing. I didn't know you did the same thing.
Yeah, you could ask for just cream on the side. They just give it to
and
you.
then you mix it, and
Yeah.
you have 2 lattes
All right,
effectively.
so I'll be even better. You get
Okay.
a regular black coffee.
Okay.
They give it to you, and then you say, "Oh, by the way, can I get a cup of ice?"
Yes.
Pour it over the ice, and then say, "Oh, can I get like a little thing of cream or whatever you might need?" Or
So you get 3 cups basically.
no, the little cream is like a little.
Oh, it's in a little container. See, that's crazy because you're
yeah.
basically getting 300% the amount of coffee. with
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The ice takes up.
Oh
like
yeah, when they
70%
pour
of-
the ice in that, you're
Yeah.
really only getting half a drink. The other half's water. So just
Right.
get the normal coffee,
Yeah.
pour it over ice, which is free. There is a TikTok too that I've seen before that tells you how to get all the same Starbucks drinks
my
for
God.
cheap by ordering them like differently.
Wow.
Genius.
Yeah, like there's a way to order a macchiato by like getting one thing and something on the side. You know what I did with Alex? Here's this thing. We went to a sushi restaurant.
Okay.
And I noticed the Philadelphia roll was $15, but you could get a salmon roll for $9. And I looked at that and I'm like, wait a second. So they're charging $6 just to put cream cheese on the inside of the roll. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So I said to Alex, I wonder if I could just get cream cheese on the side. And I asked, can I get a salmon roll and just get cream cheese on the side. I'm like, how much is the cream cheese? And the guy was like, I've never been asked that before.
Yeah.
Like $1. And I'm like, okay, cool, $1. So he brings the cream cheese and brings the roll. So I'm in $10. And I just take the cream cheese and I put it on the top of the roll.
Oh, it's the
and I
same
eat it.
thing.
The
It's like-
exact same thing. I say $5.
I never even see you ordering Philadelphia rolls.
I like the Philadelphia.
You like the cream
Yeah,
cheese?
this one, I do like the cream cheese. This one made sense because it was a filling roll. I didn't want to spend the $20 on like a fancy one. It was like
Yes.
I wanted that
Smart.
like for $10.
Yeah, that's
I
smart.
thought that was a
Yeah.
good deal.
Yeah.
But they don't. But they're not doing the math on that. Like someone should really.
It's a. I
They
think,
should have charged $12 for that.
Yeah.
roll, not 15.
Yeah, but wouldn't a restaurant like try to get whatever they can? You know, they'll up.
Yeah, he
charge
said
for
it was the first time he'd been asked that. So I guess it
Nobody's
kinda-
thinking about it.
Exactly.
That's that IQ, Jack. When your IQ
It's
goes over
something.
150,
It's something for
start
sure.
thinking. Start
Yeah.
thinking of ways to.
You saw that the Chipotle thing though, right? Because
Oh,
there
what's
was a
going on?
huge Chipotle exploit where you go in and you get a taco. And you basically load up the taco with everything they have there. So you get like the rice, the beans, the veggies, you get
Okay.
the meat in there and everything. And then you ask for a side of tortilla, which is like 50 cents. And you just pile the entire taco into the burrito tortilla and you overload the taco. You can get double beans,
Yep.
double rice, double everything. You can even
Okay.
get double chicken. And it turns out to be like $3.
Wow.
And then you just set
No.
it into or four.
Are you talking about you're getting one taco?
One taco. Yes.
Yes.
And you
yeah,
get
yeah,
double
yeah.
because double rice is free, double beans is free, double lettuce is free, double cheese is free, double all of that is free.
God.
Do they
Except the
close? Do they
chicken.
patch it? There's no way to
I don't know.
patch
If,
it.
I don't know if they patched it,
There's
but
no
like
way.
I think like they still do it, but it's highly discouraged for people to go there because like I think so. This girl, she posted this TikTok. It got like 20 million views. It went super viral.
Oh, okay.
And then there was this huge controversy because everybody started going to Chipotle using this exploit. And they haven't. I don't think they've patched it because I don't know how they would.
I don't know. I don't think
But
they
Like you
would.
can't get double
Besides,
rice, maybe.
Yeah.
it would have to be at their discretion to say no. That's too much.
Yeah.
But
But you
that's the
go
only
in and
thing
get,
can
you
do.
know, $3 burritos or whatever it was. And yeah.
So
save money.
I tried a life hack recently.
Okay.
Panda Express apparently
Oh, boy.
used to, if you show up 15 minutes before closing, give you discounted food. Or you would be able to get
okay.
like multiple meals for the price of one because
yes.
otherwise they throw it out.
Yeah.
So I went to a few Panda Expresses. One of them offered, I think it was like 15 or 20% off on the meal.
Cool.
As just a courtesy, sort of like, we don't really do this, but if you want to.
Okay, yeah.
The other one, the lady ended up watching the channel and she sent me a message afterwards on Twitter saying, hey, I couldn't really explain this in the store, but we used to do this. And we ended up having issues because people would show up right at closing,
mean, yeah,
and
that
we'd
makes
we'd
sense.
have to cook food right before closing. A lot of it would go to waste,
Hmm.
or a lot of employees would purposely like cook up extra food just to be able to take it home.
Yeah.
So they stopped that, but they used to do it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I do know about the waste thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Yeah, they throw the food away.
yeah, bakeries as well. Like that
Yeah.
must be terrible.
Bakeries are incredible. There's this bakery in my hometown. All the high schoolers knew about it. You can go in and ask for the day old donuts. It was
Oh.
this like drive-through donut restaurant,
Yeah.
and you go in and they give you like a box of like 16 donuts, whatever they have. It's like a mixture of donuts in a bag, donuts in a box. It's just like this huge
It's like the leftovers.
Exactly.
basically.
It's like this donut cornucopia. They just like
Smart.
hand-
I'm
yeah,
glad
and
they
and
do
you go
that.
and you give them, and you're like, how much today? And they're like, $4. Like you know that they're
they're
just
just
pulling that
whatever.
number.
It's whatever.
Yeah, exactly
Yeah.
out of nowhere, and you go and you get like 16 donuts. It's crazy.
It's a great deal.
Yeah,
I love
it's amazing.
This. I
Yeah.
love it.
I
Yeah.
would love to see more restaurants and places doing that of the food that they're going to throw away anyway.
I thought
But
I
it-
have heard like Pret, for example, when I was in London, they used to fresh make all their sandwiches in the morning, and at the end of the day, they would give anything left to a homeless shelter.
That's awesome.
Yeah, completely free, everything.
That's good.
So they never have leftovers essentially after
I think some
closing.
of the high-end restaurants feel like it devalues their food because I remember who was it that we had on? Joshua Weissman said that he was all, you wouldn't believe the amount of waste in some of these restaurants.
I
like
saw
all
that
the-
short. I've actually seen
yeah,
the short.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're cutting like some crazy baseball steak cut, right? Like all of the trimmings that go around that, they just get tossed. And this is on like super nice meat too. They just, it's just a cost of doing
They don't
business.
use it in any of
No,
Nothing.
no.
Damn.
Oh, sometimes you said
Maybe
they
in
would
side
grind, they would
dishes.
grind
Yeah.
it and do
Maybe in
side dishes.
But a lot of the times the food just goes to waste. Yeah, all the trimmings.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Okay, let's go back to comedy because I have a question.
Sure.
What do you think about the current climate of comedy? People kind of trying to tiptoe around certain jokes and everything.
Yeah.
Because I noticed you very much lean into like the whole Asian stereotype and everything. Do you ever feel like you could be like talking about something that's like really sensitive, or I don't know, like being insensitive towards Asian stereotypes, which
it's
people are cautious about.
It's intention. Intention is the most important thing. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to lightly satirize in a friendly way, in a loving way, and to share your culture with the rest of the world? Or do you have negative intentions? That is the answer to your question. It's intention. Because I come from China, I don't have the upbringing of an American, where I've noticed, and I respect this because I know it comes from a place of protecting yourselves and hurt. I have seen the Asian accent. I have seen the Asian accent being kind of villainized by experiences of bullying, of racism, of people who would use the way we are against us, who would do that kind of racist making fun of Asians in a negative way. And as a result, I see in the United States, this obviously is not in China, but in the United States, that is where the negative rep for our accent comes from. But it would be an absolute shame to let the bullies take that from us. It would be an absolute shame. The real loss here would be if we are convinced that we are lesser because of the way we are. No. We should wear our culture proudly. It's totally fine to be who they are, to speak the way we speak. Don't let the bullies take that from us. If you're Asian, wear it proudly. Because damn, I love being Asian. So intention, it's intention.
What if, let's just say hypothetically, right? There's a guy,
Yeah.
he understands Asian culture. He's super excited. He thinks like, oh, these are funny juxtapositions, this like Asian stereotype to this like white American stereotype or whatever, but he's white.
Yes.
And he goes and he makes a joke. What do you think about that?
Oh, then now
Because his intention, what if his
Yeah.
intention is good,
Yes.
right? Like he just thinks it's a funny thing, and
Yeah.
maybe he'll take bashes on one side and bashes on this side.
Yeah. Now we're talking about different cultural moments now. I am very new in the United States and I'm not fully educated on the culture here, but I can tell you this. If that white guy went to China and told that same joke to Chinese people from China with fully positive intent, and it's an actual funny joke, we'd love it. But I'm not going to comment on American culture because that I'm not fully educated in.
I know Americans can be very sensitive. There was
Yeah.
this like YouTube short that I was scrolling. I deleted TikTok. I'm not on TikTok anymore,
Okay.
but of course I kind of migrated to YouTube Shorts. I got to
Yeah.
shut that down, spending way too much time on it.
yeah.
There's this
Same, I get
YouTube
you.
short, and it was this guy,
Yeah.
and he was walking around to, it was like a university campus, and he was wearing like a Asian or Chinese, like,
Yeah.
you know, like the hat.
Yes, I
and
know.
like
I've actually seen the exact video you're
You've seen
talking
the
about.
video,
I've seen
and he
the
goes
video.
around.
Yeah.
So I'll show you the video, and he goes around to these people. He's like just a normal looking white guy, but
Yeah.
he's, what do you call like a kimono or something?
Well, the female version is called a qipao. I don't know what the male version is called.
But he's wearing the
yes,
rice
the
farmer hat.
traditional. Yeah,
Is
the rice farmer hat. Yeah, you could call it a rice
Is
farmer.
that
hat.
right?
Yes.
Is that bad to
Is
say?
that-
I
is
don't-
that bad to
Is
say?
that
I don't
racist?
know.
People, no, it's not right. People
Okay.
do wear it to farm rice.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. So he's going around to university campuses,
Yeah.
and he's all, do you find this offensive to American students, none of which
Yeah.
are Chinese?
Yeah.
And they're all like, are you Asian? And he's all, no. And they're like, yeah, I would say so, because you don't understand their culture. You don't understand what they've been through. That's highly offensive that you'd be
Yeah.
wearing their clothes when you're white.
Yeah.
And he does this. And then he goes to Chinatown, where like he's speaking to people that hardly know English, like very Chinese people,
Yeah.
you know, like they probably migrated here in the
Yeah.
past like 15, 20 years. And he's all, do you find this offensive? And they're like, no, I love it. This is great.
we
We
love
love
it.
to see that you're, you know, experiencing
Yes.
our culture. You're trying to
Yeah.
immerse with us. And yeah.
One thing I would hate to do here is to throw a negative view on anything, because with my limited view of American culture, I must respect those who come from a good place, there are many people, not Asian people, who may like do that, who may say, "Oh, you can't do that," out of a place of love and respect, and that is, I very, very much appreciate that. Yeah. Whereas how we think versus how they think, it may be different. Like I don't know if you know about this, in China, Chinese people love white people who can speak Mandarin as well as we can.
Oh, we met up with
Zhao Ma.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah.
New York.
They're like on TV.
We went
they're
there.
like-
We went to Chinatown.
Yeah.
And
We got
ordered
boba.
we ordered boba.
yeah.
And I'm like, Joe, do the thing. Do the thing.
the thing.
And he orders it. And you just see her face.
Yeah.
She lit up.
We
She was
loved
so
it.
happy.
Yeah.
It was
Loved
the
it.
same reaction in person as you see in his videos.
Yeah.
Because I was
like,
like,
no cameras were on.
no
it
cameras,
was a
nothing.
great moment.
It was a
Yeah.
highlight of my trip to
Yeah.
see her face light up when he
Yeah.
spoke. I think it was it Mandarin?
Yeah, it was Mandarin.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, she
Yeah.
was like, I thought I knew you because she
Yeah.
recognized
Oh,
him,
no
too.
way.
Yeah.
That's even better.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
awesome.
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so cool, but it sounded amazing. It was
Yeah.
like a beautiful language, and he was just like going back and forth with her. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh man.
Yeah, of course. We love that. We love that. And this is the opposite perspective. It's true as well. I came here and out of absolute love and respect, I assimilated to the United States. I even changed my accent to speak the way I do now. And I think if one comes from a place of respect and love and absolutely no negativity, I don't think there's anything wrong with it myself. Yeah.
That's what I think. I think
Yeah.
I'm similar to you in that. It's like, although I'm a pretty insensitive person, I don't take offense to many things personally, whatever things I subscribe to, religions or, based off my physical appearance and stuff like that, I'm generally not very sensitive.
Okay.
But I respect the people that are sensitive to those things because I'm a firm believer it's all about intention and not outcome.
Absolutely,
And if their
yeah.
intent is to protect certain people, that's totally fine. Do I think it's an effective solution to it? Maybe not.
Oh,
but I
yeah,
respect their
sometimes.
intention there.
Indeed. Yeah.
I think sometimes, like, to be completely fair and honest, if you're like defending certain people that you're not a part of, whatever, like you're also kind of, in a sense, like agreeing that there is an issue there in the first place. You're kind of validating the stereotype.
I'm
Whereas-
very new to that. I haven't seen that in any other nation before.
Yeah.
Not.
It's like you can't make fun of this certain group of people
Yeah.
because like when you make fun of them, like the strikes or whatever, the cuts, they dig deep. And it's like, okay, well, you're kind of only the person here that's assigning validity to the statement. This is clearly an exaggeration of a stereotype. That's where the comedy comes in. It's not like you're just saying something is blatantly the way that it is and that's funny. No, you have to exaggerate a stereotype.
Yeah, that is uniquely to the United States. Like, there are a few occasions of that coming from the heart in other countries, like the UK, like Ireland, where I was. But I do see, like, for example, people who comment on my videos calling me racist. I don't quite understand that. That is a different story.
Racist towards who?
Exactly, towards myself? That doesn't make any sense. What? No. So, it might be as you described. They have kind of taken something that could be originally good intent into something that is a bit overboard. But then again, I must admit, I don't know much about American culture to form a valuable opinion. Especially, I don't know enough about the experience of an Asian American because I respect everything they went through, and now I might even immigrate and become Asian American myself. Even though the way we are with some PC culture, the way we are here now, it could have come from a place of hurt. It could have come from a place of protecting themselves. And for that reason, I don't know enough to comment at the moment. I just respect their experiences and I'll learn more about it.
What's the oddest thing that you find about American culture that you think is weird?
But it's on the large scale and on the small scale. Let me think. Well, okay, so on the small scale, individual things like American health insurance.
Okay,
That's a pretty
fair.
obvious
That's
one.
fair. Yeah.
How much meat people leave off of chicken bones?
That's true.
Chicken wing bones? That bothers me. Yep.
Well, I take offense to that. I don't leave any meat.
You know what's funny? I'm that person. I leave a lot of meat on that bone.
No way.
That is very uncharacteristic.
exactly.
Yeah, it's not though, because I get weirded out anytime a meat's on the
that's
bone.
true.
It looks too
Yeah.
much like the animal, and I get weirded out by that. So
Oh, I
I will
see.
eat only like the if I see like a vein or anything
forgot
going
about
through
that.
I can't eat it.
Oh, I see.
He doesn't
So,
like
okay.
eating stuff that is connected to bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
We did
it is
okay.
veins, tissue, fat, skin, I can't eat it.
Yeah.
It's got to
Okay.
be the pure meat itself removed from the bone. So I'll
Gotcha.
go
Like a
through and, pick it
nugget
off.
or a cut.
There's,
of
there's
meat.
probably
Yeah.
some word for people like that because that has to be some sort of a common thing, right? Scared of eating meat attached to bones.
I'm not scared of it. I get weirded out.
I do relate in
Yeah.
some cases. I do relate. I remember once I was eating crab and it was the whole crab.
Oh, yeah.
And you had to break the legs
yeah.
off.
That's a little weird.
I could deal with that, believe it or not. Yeah.
I did feel a bit weirded out, so I do understand you.
Yeah. Soft shell crab is kind of freaky if you've ever had
Oh,
that.
you know what? I got that last night.
It's
I
a
went to
little
All You Could
freaky.
Eat Sushi.
Yeah.
They brought it for free. And so I couldn't not eat it.
And how was that?
Dude, I have this.
It was it weirded me out because you could see the pincher at the front.
Yeah.
And it was like the arm to the
Yeah.
pincher.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't like the idea of it. I don't like it, but I ate it. It tasted good,
Yeah.
but it's a little too crunchy, and it's the idea.
It feels like the animal. Yeah.
For me, it's sad because you're like eating the entire being. You know what I mean?
That's
Whereas
good.
other
You
things like,
want that.
well, sure, but when I eat like a piece of salmon nigiri, I'm like, wow, this is 2% of a salmon, so I'm probably fine. You know what I mean? But like this is like the entire existence of this animal is in
Yeah.
my mouth. You know what I mean?
Oh,
it seems
wow.
like it's a very fleeting
Yeah.
thing. Like it's just gone after a couple bites. Whereas the salmon can be enjoyed more.
Oh, that's a different experience from I remember growing up in the local home that we used to be at, where my grandma and grandpa were farmers. Not in the modern sense with all the machines, like they were hoeing things in the yard. And as kids, we often went and visited grandma, grandpa, and we played with the chickens that ran around, and then we ate it for dinner.
No.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
How was that for you, man? Was that sad?
Is it harder for you to connect with animals because you'd like play with them and then eat them?
I know that sounds awful.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what we do. We eat animals. It's strange putting it in a different perspective.
but we don't play with them. I feel like that I have a connection and a bond.
Yeah.
And I don't want like if I play with an animal, I can't.
It's
That's
an
over.
interesting
I don't wanna know it.
perspective.
Yeah.
You do like disassociate a little bit after food security and things like that. But if we went back to days where you had to hunt to eat, then I suppose you would connect more with the act of hunting or the act of farming and raising animals. So yeah, like for example, I bet my next generation, if I have kids and they grew up in like this environment where they don't have to kill a chicken, they would probably be squeamish as well. So yeah, I think it's a matter of the security of the food, if you need to do that, if it is normalized by your culture, things like that. Yeah, so that's totally cool. No, it's totally cool for everyone.
Wow. Well, going back to you, how is your business broken down now?
Wow, this is such a great
Yeah.
question. My business now is mainly YouTube. The videos, the comedy skits we make are like the front running IP. They're the most important thing. I have other channels that make reactionary content. I repurpose things into short form content. They aren't huge. They're not huge, especially the reactionary content that's actually currently losing money. And we do have to put in a lot of research into, all right, how do we...
So what's the point of it if it's losing money?
It serves to build that connection for those who want it. And that's
Okay.
very important to me,
Sure.
Okay. And also, I do want to make it a profitable event or a profitable side of the business. So I will invest time and a lot of research. Like this week, I'm doing the research. I'm asking people who are specialists in the realm of algorithm and making videos, how I can optimize in order to get enough views to not lose money. So I am making that advancement there. But the bigger picture is I have a journey that I want to take on of making cinematic content fully profitable in-house. So I have been a part of the traditional industry, like film and TV for a while, and I kind of understand how things work. I have pitched shows to executives, and that's the part I didn't like. You're at the mercy of a couple of people, and they get to decide what gets made, what doesn't. And so I took that like, I'm tired of begging for a job. I'm tired of begging to make what I want to make. Let's see if I can do it myself. So essentially becoming the studio that funds it and becoming the distributor that monetizes it. Obviously, our YouTube videos, every YouTuber has a career. We already do this with our videos. But there are very few who can do it in the form of cinematic filmmaking. You know, when we look at this business model, we think of Mr. Beast and all of that, and that's because of all their tactics work extremely well in competing for the algorithm. So if I bring on cinematic filmmaking, I'm at a massive disadvantage. I do not have access to those tactics and devices that they use. So how do I innovate? How do I create something that can compete so that my piece of cinematic filmmaking content can get your eyes as opposed to a Mr. Beast video or as opposed to a cat video or one of those. So that's the innovation. We've had 2 tries so far. The first try is a big collaboration back in April. And the collaboration was a large part of it, of what tactics can I use to elevate this beyond my regular videos. I invited a lot of my friends who are huge creators in the Asian community of YouTube. Together, we shot 3 comedy sketches in one day, which was amazing. The set was run incredibly well, and it was a traditional production. We did employ 15 people. We did put a budget into this. This was my personal budget. We ended up being quite successful. We took a unique achievement of holding trending 6, 7, and 1 simultaneously in the United States. Till this day, I believe I'm the only one who's ever done that.
Wow.
3 spots in top 10 trending, including number 1.
Did you release them all like right at the same time?
Yes, I gave one video to. I gave the set to my friends as well, so that the 3 comedy skits would be on 3 different channels launching at the same time.
Wow.
And we basically sent our viewers to each other's channels. Financially, it worked out. It really did work out, and that's what showed me. Okay, so I can employ 15 people, use cinematic equipment like cinema cameras, cinema lenses, and do things that look good, you know, have a lighting team, have all that, and be able to make profit if I innovate on the retention tactics, on the things that matter in the algorithm, and a bunch of other tactics that is surrounding it as well, like outside, you know, like using a promotional strategy that is very rare. Like when you think of YouTuber videos, we don't really promote our videos. At most, we'll share a story about it. But when 9 of the biggest in the community come together and make peripheral content that kind of let people know we're coming together, we're doing this massive thing, it's amazing, then that drew more people to the thing. And so the next attempt is currently still ongoing. It's a show called Ginormo. A play on the word ginormous.
Yeah.
And it is a parody of a 1970s Japanese kaiju show. Kaiju show being Godzilla, Power Rangers, big monsters fighting big mecha. And we're a parody of it. So we're making fun of how bad those were back then, basically. And this, we are innovating again with a lot of new tactics and going much, much bigger. Now it is a 6-episode actual scripted narrative series. With 9 amazing creators who are great friends of mine and who happen to be more professional than most actors I've ever worked with. So I got really lucky there. And now the challenge is, how do we take that property, and we have invested a lot of our own money into it, and make it profitable and not lose money? So this try, we'll see what happens. If we manage to succeed, I can go bigger and bigger until I achieve that business model to be able to be the whole operation in-house.
What's the cost of like the budget for that first film when you shot the 3 different skits?
That was $10,000 for the day. So it wasn't.
That's not
That's
that
not bad
bad.
at
It's
all.
not that bad.
Yeah.
For 3 full-on videos, a
Yes.
camera, a team of 15 people,
Yes.
collaborations with a
You know
ton of
why?
other-
It's because we did a lot of innovating. We did a lot of, okay, let's take a look at the way a traditional set has been done. How do we save time on lighting? How do we save time on sound? In fact, I single-handedly ran the entire sound department.
Oh wow! So you're a good audio guy.
I'm not a. I know people are gonna watch the video now and go, "Jesus, sounds terrible." It's because I read it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not an audio guy, but I do have that. I do have the scrappiness of no matter what it is, let's get it done.
Yeah.
I'll get it done. I don't know a thing about audio. the night before, I was up till 3 a.m. sorting the mics that I just rented that I had no clue how to use and reading the manual. So yeah, how do we create like 50K worth of value with 10K? That is a very key part of the business model. And then on Dranoma, I learned a lot as well. And we used things that are never seen in traditional Hollywood. We were very behind. And I think in the last 3 days, we needed to shoot a lot. We need to shoot like 80 pages. I need to check if that's the specific number, but we need to shoot way more than was possible. And if you ask any traditional set, that's ridiculous. 80 pages in 3 days. We ended up effectively tripling our productivity by building and operating 3 sets at the same time. And I'm not a director on the show, but I'll go direct the green screen set. You go direct this. That person will take care of that. So with tactics like this and a couple more, we managed to get it done. And that's a very large part of the business model. I feel like in the future, I'll have a lot more to innovate so that I can deliver you a product that looks like it costs $10 million for 100K. And it can.
Wow.
I bet it can be done. I already own the cameras that shoot Oscar winners. So I know it can be done. It just has to, someone has to come and figure out how.
Wow.
So what's your team look like now?
My team is very small. My team is very small. I have 2 editors that work with me all the time. And most others on my team are like the management level. So they negotiate deals, they procure opportunities, things like that. And that's my team. Yeah, I hope keep it very small. I do have that spirit of YouTuber, I'll do everything myself. I don't know how to edit, I'll figure it out. Yeah. I don't know how to write, I'll figure it out.
What percentage of humans do you think are good-natured?
All of them. And
every single.
And that is a really dangerous statement. But I have. There's this old Chinese proverb which I really began to understand recently, and it means a lot to me. And it's called 人之初性本善，性相近，习相远. And it describes. I'm just laughing at all the way people could judge me. But it means all humans are born kind. Even though the experiences of humans can be different, our nature is the same. There's a very, very thousands of years old Chinese proverb. And it's kind of like this concept that we are what the world has shaped us to be. And a lot of the times, it's not people's fault the way they are. When, the world could have put something on them and made them into something that we receive as negative. And it has helped me to go a long way to understand. That is one thing I've had a growth as a person. Like before, I obviously, like with my experiences, I faced bullies. And there are many moments where I would hate people. But after understanding that proverb, it's like an acceptance. It's like, sure, you might have caused me harm, but you are the way you are because of every moment you have lived, because of where the world put you. So I can't really blame you for what you harmed me. You're, a victim of your surroundings too if it's bad. So, yeah. That is my answer to that question.
So you don't think that there could be someone out there, though, that's born just naturally evil?
That's a really good question because that steps a line between belief and science. And I sway a little bit towards science. So the second you ask that, my brain goes to because hormones, chemicals, that
chemicals,
kind of
yeah. And certain people are born obviously with like different mental disorders, stability, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just certain synapses not firing in their brain.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there are some that probably are somehow commingled with human nature, right?
Yes,
like
that are wired differently to
exactly.
how we consider as kind. Oh, well, when you put it in that perspective, then it does make sense to me that certain humans can be born with a biology that is different. I accept that. Yeah, I accept that.
I'm a firm believer that like 99% of the people that we consider evil or like bad doers aren't actually like a part of that population that are born evil, but they're just people like you said that are subjects to their surroundings or victims to their surroundings, right? And that has kind of crafted them into who they are.
Yes.
But I do definitely think that there is a statistic there that are probably just naturally born.
Oh, I can see. I know what you mean now. Yeah.
But I think it's a very, very, very minute group of people, right? And of the amount of people that we ascribe the word evil to, I think it's like hardly even a statistic within that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Then I see what you mean. That the biology of a person can be born with a difference that we consider evil. Yeah. I can understand that.
I love the perspective, though, the open-mindedness perspective. That's kind of an epiphany I've been having over the past, probably at this point, 6 months, where I'm like trying to understand why people that I just inherently disagree with do the things that they do.
Yeah.
And I kind of have come to the realization, similar to what you said, that they're just a product of whatever the environment that they grew up in. And I grew up in a completely different environment, and I'm a product of that environment.
Yeah.
And I just have to understand that, similar to what Tom Bilyeu was saying, you see life through a lens. And the longer you live your own life, the more obscured your lens gets, and your perspective of reality is more obviously twisted.
You're right.
More
It was your unique view.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you just have to understand that everybody has a lens.
Yes.
How they see the
That
world.
understanding helps a lot. It dissolves the anger I used to have, you know. It dissolves the negativity I used to have, you know, the way that you can look at the world very negatively because things have happened to you and because other people have harmed you. But now with the understanding of, it's an understanding in general. With understanding, it helps you be a better person where you are. It helps you make decisions that are not to give hate back to someone, but to improve yourself and to bring value to the world. Yeah, so it's a very helpful thought. Interesting question and very deep. I don't mind that.
What do you think is the biggest threat to humanity?
Wow, there are too many. Just right off the top of my head, disease, like weather and the earth, and there's just so many things that could go wrong with our environment. You know, from extremely quick things like a meteor to to longer things like resources running out, or if something just changed, we no longer have sunlight, we're in trouble. If we lost water, we're in trouble. There's so many things that go wrong there. I'm very fascinated by the whole AI thing. That is a very popular answer for the end of humanity.
I don't know how it would lead to the end of humanity, but I guess
all the films basically go
Terminator.
Yeah. Machines will think they're better than humans and end human. That's like everyone goes there. I don't know if that'll ever be true. AI, what could it do that would? I can't understand the film perspective, right? Because it kind of makes sense.
No.
Right? If we craft AI to be the best living life form it can be, and it goes, humans are dragging us back, then yeah, fair, I can see that. But I wonder how else AI can affect humans. That might be the answer. I've had this mental thought for a while. I'm intrigued by the concept of evolving into a being that is like an AI, that is immortal, that is not that is not in this mortal coil, but can live as long as we want, and can improve ourselves by adding, capabilities. And the thought is like, how do we integrate with machine? And the thought is kind of like, if you copy your brain, sure, you have another version of you that's running around, and you can pretty much say it is you. But your fleshy brain is still going to die like a regular. And I came up with this idea, hey, what about if you replace it one by one? Because then you're in the grandfather's ship paradox, right? Each year, you just swap out 1% of your brain for a machine. And then next year, 1%, next year, 1%. So you never really stop being you, and you never really start being the machine.
That's
you're always
interesting.
you.
Then you wonder what defines humanity at that point.
That's going to be a big question.
50%.
50%. There we go. The grand answer is right smack in the middle. 50%
Are you more
robot,
man than
50%
machine? That's
you.
it. That's it. If you're 51 one way or another, then
It's
that's
like
what
you
it
get
is.
a passport. I'm still human.
Yeah, exactly. 51% still counts.
Yeah. That's crazy. I like to think that it can be what we want it to be. We have the power of the choice. We can decide to go back into what humanity always was, or we can decide to change humanity into a new thing. I like to believe that's our decision. Yeah, fascinating thoughts. Very fascinating thoughts.
Is there anything else you want to discuss?
I wanted to tell all the off-brand stories of going back in China.
Please do.
They will be
whatever you want to revisit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I did. I told a lot of stories, and I think they would be the clips that go viral. You know.
You could always roast me as the Asian dad.
I don't have my costume. Dad, I didn't bring my costume.
Could just go in heavy on me.
That was good. I'm actually very impressed by your frugalism, because this is a weird perspective now. Growing up, as a kid, even I felt this that you would look down on frugalism, right? Because you have this whole nation of people who's not used to having money, suddenly has money, and now there is the insecurity of I don't want to be seen as poor, and that insecurity kind of manifests into if someone is frugal, you might look down upon them. Like I had this personal experience that I very, very, very much regret now. But back then, I was a product of my society as well, where we go to my grandma and I. Wait, actually, I should tell that story. I'm gonna tell one story, and this is for the soundbite. It's gonna be great. So I remember I was young. I was like 5. I was like 4 or 5, with my mom in China at the time, and my mom all of a sudden. This was like right when things blew up. My mom said, "Hey, we're gonna take you guys to a 5-star experience." And me and my friend, it was like a play date. Me and a friend, and both our moms. And she was like, "Guys, we're gonna go to this like amazing. We're going above the budget this time, okay?" And we were hyped, and we went to this restaurant that was so new, and we were told like, this is the international exotic. This is the American stuff, right? This is from America. And to us, I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. America's great, because we really look up to America, and so like, wow, we're experiencing what things are like there. And I remember I had like the best meal. I enjoyed it so much, and I never eat any food like it. It wasn't rice. It wasn't, the things I'm used to eating. And then there was a playground, and we went on a swing. I don't know if I've ever been on a swing before. We had a blast of a time, and it was a McDonald's.
But you know what? If you haven't had it before, it's delicious.
I think it was the first McDonald's in Shenzhen, and I remember it so fondly, fondly.
I'm surprised it wasn't an off-brand.
There are many came up immediately afterwards, but I always had
McDonald's instead.
Yeah, McDonald's.
McDonald's.
I've probably reviewed like 10 in my channel, and I always kept that experience. Then KFC came in. Oh my God, it was the best thing ever. We would go hang out there if you weren't even eating. Even if like
just a hangout spot?
Yeah. Even if, like you had lunch, but you still go, you get like an ice cream sundae, you were the cool kid. It was the spot. And then I remember this, it was such a visceral experience. My first time coming to the United States, I came into Penn Station, New York, and I saw the KFC sign. I was like, there's my place. Let's go. I was so disappointed, bro. I was so It was dirty. The floor was greasy. There was one person running the shop, and it was stained and rusted. And the food didn't taste nearly as good as I remembered. So that was a massive paradigm shift. I had always had this idea.
Wow.
And then Penn Station crushed it for me.
I'm sorry, man.
No. You've gotten it since then, right?
Yeah.
I gotta admit, it's not any KFC or McDonald's I've had in the United States is nothing like the experience I had in China.
KFC's also gone all downhill, to be completely honest. I ate it a little bit as a kid, and it was really good, but I've gone recently. It's just, it's
I wonder
not as
what's
good
going
anymore.
on. Bring it back, man. In fact, I'll go back to China just to have KFC. It's so great over there.
That would be actually really interesting, comparing the difference of like...
It's staggering, bro.
Of KFC there and KFC here, and
it's
also
a different story.
off-brand KFC there. That would be interesting.
I gotta go review an off-brand KFC.
That would be hilarious.
That would be a really good
amazing
video.
to see.
Yeah.
People would be very curious to see what the differences are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they some of them are so good though. Some are so good. You might as well go to that rather than the real one.
Was there like elitism when it came to like being a consumer of a real KFC versus a fake one? Like if you go to school,
Fake one. Not fake.
no, okay, sorry.
Like a replica KFC.
Yeah, like a replica KFC, because you were saying there's a lot of off-brands. So when
Yeah.
you show up to school, like does someone, oh, you have a McDonald's burger, not a McDonald's.
Oh, you have Illinois fried chicken. I got Kentucky fried chicken. From my experience, everybody loved the off-brands.
Okay.
We might have even loved it more than the actual thing.
Okay.
Yeah, we loved it. There was an intimacy there. You know, KFC felt corporate, which isn't a bad thing. We still enjoy the experience. But the off-brand KFC was run by
the
like a
heart.
mom and pop. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
they were in the back frying the chicken, and they came to the front to do your order. So everyone loved it. I definitely loved that.
That's cool.
Yeah. So stories from China. Oh, makes me happy just telling these stories.
How hard would it be to revisit China? Would it be easy for you now? Is it?
I believe so because I am going back to see family later this year. I haven't been in a while actually. I do feel Chinese culture moves really fast. I've noticed this ever since I came to the West. Like, I'll leave for 2 years and then I'll get in contact with my Chinese friends, and all of a sudden I don't know what people are saying. There's new catchphrase coming up. There's new expressions. The new hot thing has changed. You know, people wear different clothes now. People play different games now. So I have felt like you can lose touch very fast. And now I do feel when I go back to China, I don't know any of the popular movies. I don't know any of the popular activities people do. There's a weird like feeling like I'm an outsider now. But oh well, I'm an immigrant, so I guess that's fair.
As a kid growing up in China, how was the general quality of life there? Because you said there are all the pressures that the kids see. I also heard, I don't know what it was from, but I think it was like a clip from a podcast where they were saying that, I don't want to say the word, but like when you end your own life, those rates are extremely high. I don't know if the statistic is true. In certain situations where the child is facing a ton of pressure from their parents to perform well and they feel inadequate. Was the general quality of life and consensus amongst kids in China good, positive?
Yes. Because when I think back on my life, and I don't know, I guess you could call me an average kid until I immigrated. My memories are good. I could also be lucky in the way that the academics came easy to me, like math and all that came easy to me. But I do remember things were very good. I remember appreciation was the thing. And that's a very interesting concept I've kind of realized talking to other peoples of international origins. And it's kind of like the glass half empty, glass half full question. There is a definitive answer. It is the journey from where you came. So like the definitive answer of that question is, if you have a full glass and you pour half it out, it is now half empty. If you have an empty glass, you fill half of it, it is now half full. So how that relates to us is, for my grandpa, grandma, my mom and dad, and me to come from a time where it was difficult to eat to a time where everyone had clothes and we got school to go to and we got books to read and we can eat whenever we want. To me being born, and my life was absolute luxury. I could eat meat every day. Like, this is, people understate this, but it was a big deal. It was a very, very big deal that I can eat meat every day. And the fact that I got some mass on me, I'm not skinny. That was a great thing that we very, very much appreciated. So my memory growing up is my grandma would sing songs in the kitchen about the government because, you know, she had food and all of this great things that like people in a better situation may take for granted. And so I think that answers that question. It's because we have seen such great growth and such great progress that we really appreciate everything we had. And we were happy. I was happy anyway. Of course, my experience doesn't speak for everyone's experience, but I was happy.
It's an interesting analogy.
Yeah.
That's where you come from.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like it. Well, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
I very much
appreciate
enjoyed
this.
this.
Yeah,
This is
that was
legendary.
amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
Right. I can't believe I'm
you
going to be
again,
on your
yeah.
channel. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
there we go.
crazy
We
to
did
me.
it,
Yes, we did it.
All right,
We
man.
did it.
Thank you.
No emotional
Thank you
damage.
guys so much for watching. If you've made
Appreciate
it this far, feel free to add me on Instagram.
Or
Also check out, of course, Steven's
subscribe.
stuff. All of his links are going to be posted
Get a free
down
stock
below.
down
And
below.
with that said, you
description.
guys,
Just public.com/gram.
Brilliant.
When you make a deposit.
See you. Cheers.